Chapter 7: The Intelligence and Coherence of the Light. I will try in this chapter to give you other aspects of what I received from the Master Omram, because I want to take you into this marvelous journey. But for that, you have, as far as you can, only through a text, to walk the path. I mean, if I go back to the classical love, I can look at somebody who is in love and find funny that is like this, that he behaves like that, and so on. I can reject the story. I can judge the story. I can laugh about the story. But if I am in love, or if I was in love before, I understand completely. I take part in the story, even if I am not now in a love story. So what I try to do is to invite you to imagine that you're living this story. There is a master who died around 3 years ago, who is talking to you through a very impressive protocol, and teaching you some stuff that are changing totally, completely, absolutely your point of view. And of course, it's not always precise what I'm going to say, because I try to tell you what I learned, but at the same time, it's the EG of today. I don't know what, 20, 90, nearly 30 years later, that is telling you what he learned at that time. So of course, I explain most probably more than what I could have been explaining at that time. It's called evolution. So maybe sometimes you will see that I go further or not so far in some explanations. It's logical, because there's a little mixing between what I knew at that time and what I know now when I tell you what happened. I try to give the best sum up of the teaching with my words and abilities of today. But I try to explain well enough to take you in a journey, a real journey of transformation. It's not about a cold teaching in a book. It's about somebody who is talking to you while he died 3 years ago. I don't know if you realize the situation. You have everybody wondering, oh, maybe there's something after the life. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, I met Nadej, a girl who is living with Jess. And she said, well, according to me, there's nothing after the life. What do you want me to say? I understand. How could I say, you know what, I was talking to this one and this one who died 5-10 years ago. How? No, you cannot. Of course you cannot. So you have to smile gently on the ignorance of people, because they never walked this path. As it is said in Matrix, like me, Neo, you will have to understand that there's a huge difference between knowing the path and walking the path. I don't want you to know the path. I want you to walk the path. From what you practice with me or on your side, and what you discover in everything that I explained. But don't take it in a cold way. Try to commit yourself into something intense, magical. So for that, I'm going to talk about the world of the light, the logic of the light. First of all, maybe I'm going to talk about the physical fitness. Why? Because to practice the spirituality, a lot of people would tell you that you don't need to be very fit. Beep, wrong. Why? It's a little bit right and wrong at the same time. Why? Because the fitness, the big muscles are not needed to walk your path in spirituality. But the electricity of your brain that you develop by working on your perfect body, perfect concentration, perfect focusing when you do weightlifting or whatever else, are needed to develop a clear power of electricity of your brain, to have the will to break the limit, to go beyond the appearances. So you don't need big muscles, but the big muscles, or at least a sturdy body, is the side effect of the practice of the will, of the electricity of the brain. And the sturdy body is a side effect of the development of this body, of this electricity in the brain. Without this intensity, without this electricity in your brain, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You can just survive. The intensity of this electricity is the love, is the real will to do things, to discover the truth, first of all. Secondly, if you start to open your mind to things that are going to happen, we are going to see that in this chapter, and that you face a situation, you receive energies from the cosmos, from the planet Earth, because you open yourself with a body that is not strong enough, it will become a poison. You will be overdosed by this energy that your body will be unable to deal with, because your body is not strong enough, and you will fall into craziness. So the more you open yourself to this cosmic electricity, knowledge and love, the more you need a powerful, strong body and an invulnerable will. If you don't have that, you go straight to the cliff, to the disaster. Even if the New Age are going to do, no, not at all, you just free your soul and everything is cool. Maybe, you free your soul in a perfect place, in a magical island and so on, but free your soul here, in this shit, in this darkness, you have to be extremely strong, extremely stable. And your body must be able to assimilate this cosmic energy. So if you have this physical strength, the cosmic energy will make you even stronger and more stable. But if you don't have this basic physical power, this cosmic energy will return you like a piece of shit. So you have to be careful really on that. So the physical body is needed to assimilate correctly the chi, the energy, and the will that you need to control this energy will create, because you work your will, a powerful body. The powerful body is not needed to control the will, but the will must develop through the body, and therefore developing the electrical energy of your brain is therefore creating a perfect body. And anyway, the perfect body is needed to assimilate the energy, not as an idea, but as a pure energy in your body. If you don't do that, you will have a mystical crisis where you become completely crazy. The brain, I learned, is built like the cosmos. You could understand that the brain is like a small cosmos. It's the reproduction of the cosmos, but in very small, in your head. In your head, you have the structure of the cosmos. This is why your head, your brain, is creating electricity. You can put a light of 30 watts plugged to your brain, and this bulb will be working. Because your brain is able to build this electricity. When you give an order to your muscles to do something and so on, it is this power, this will, that is better understood as a field of electricity. And in fact, when you want to do something with your body, you want to do 50 push-ups, you can decide to do that, and regarding your muscles, you will be able to do that or not. on the proportion, I would say, of 30-40%. It means that you're able to do 50 push-ups with your body, but you're going to ask to give the order with only 40% of your electricity because you cannot focus correctly. So therefore, instead of doing 50 push-ups, you will do 25 push-ups and you give up. It's not because your arms are not strong enough, but it's because your will, your electricity is not strong enough to give a real order. If you are able to do 50 push-ups and that your electricity is able to give the order of 50 push-ups, you do 50 push-ups. So the development of this electricity, of this will, is increasing a lot your physical abilities. And the more you develop your physical abilities, the more you develop your electricity. And the more you develop your electricity, and the more you develop your muscles. And with all of this, you get the power to assimilate all of this in a coherent, peaceful way. Spirituality, opening yourself to this energy without a powerful body, is totally crazy and extremely dangerous. All right. Understanding that the brain is a field of energy that we call electromagnetic field of the brain, energy of the brain, it is to understand that the cosmos, in a little bit bigger, is exactly the same. And that everything that you have around you, the Indians, for instance, they call that Maya, illusion. Now, let's be clear. If I punch your nose and that your nose is broken, that you bleed a lot, it's not an illusion. So you have to be very careful not to fall into New Age. But at the same time, what is really existing is a field of electricity. What we call reincarnation is a field of electricity with memories of the past, incarnating a body through the breathing. When you are a fetus, this field of electricity is visiting the fetus, is visiting the other members of the family, and also, of course, the mom, but is not always there. When, as a baby, you inhale for the first time, you root your soul until the last breathing out. The treasure is too late. They never say where the treasure is. It's like this. That's why you have so many treasures lost in the world, for those who are interested in that. So, yes, you're existing. No, you are not really existing. You are a field of cosmic electricity manifesting itself through a body. The ego is the know-how, the savoir-faire of this body to manifest clearly this electricity, this intelligence, this love, this intensity. When your ego is stealing this cosmic electricity to exist and to act only as an ego, you are practicing black magic. You are stealing the freedom of this divinity that you are, and that you, when you do this action of stealing, you call it free will of the society. You are so manipulated. And when you start to understand that I perceive the world like this, then you understand that I have nothing to do with this world, and I'm not the only one. Anyone who is with the light is perceiving the world in a true manner, in a true way. And we don't perceive at all the world as you do. Not at all. Not at all. When you look at the electricity, if you think to, what was his name? Tesla, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, for instance, he was highly inspired. Highly inspired. and he has everything around the electricity. But believe me, no one will be able to understand Nikola Tesla, because they tried to understand Nikola Tesla working with electricity. He was not working with the electricity. He was working with the cosmic electricity, and among which one manifestation is the electricity that you know on this planet. But it's much more complicated, much more complicated. And there's this center, I've forgotten the name now, where now they use the knowledge of Tesla to influence the population. Because Tesla always worked on an intelligent electricity, or an intelligent way to manifest this electricity, going, of course, through free energy. But it's not the goal. It's not the goal. It's something much more sophisticated. It's a side effect. It's like the solid body. It's a side effect. So the electricity, the simple electricity, has no memory. You can use the electricity to use a heater or an electrical chair to kill somebody. The electricity doesn't judge, because it's a very primary energy. When you go to a higher energy, it starts to have memories, to have ideas, absolutely. And when you start to enter this field of consciousness, you enter the field of the cosmos, the intelligence of the cosmos. You start to be one with the cosmos and with humanity. When I see myself being isolated, I think, therefore I am. First of all, it's a sentence that was completely manipulated by the others from Descartes, because even Descartes had dreams and meditations to go to revelations. So the way of presenting Descartes as only thinking is a complete lie and a total manipulation. When you take yourself as a reincarnation, you have this field of energy that is rich of memory. The memory of what this electricity has been learning through different egos, different adventures through different bodies. It's not exactly as you would like to see, like, I was this one, I was this one. Yes, it is true, but it's more sophisticated than that. You have to understand as well that if you believe that you were incarnate into one body, you're wrong. Yes, and that's what you have to assimilate with the time. That's what I could assimilate. For instance, to give you an idea, at one point I said to Master Omram, I said, I'm sorry because I take a lot of your time and we speak together, and he said, he had this expression, the firm Michaelic, the Michaelic firm, something like this, Michaelic company, something like this. And so I can speak with you and I can speak with thousands of people at the same time. So when you see Omram as a person, what are you talking about? But if you understand that being dead is a field of energy, why not? So you have to step into a completely different protocol. And if Omram can do that when he's dead, in a way, we all do the same. So I would say that we don't reincarnate in a physical body. Our physical body is accepted in a huge field of energy that is the soul. It has the physical body that you know, the etherical body that is about 5 centimeters around the body, then the astral body that is around 2 meters around the body, then the mental body that is about 30 meters around the body, then you have the causal body that is the size of some kilometers to thousands of kilometers. Then you have the buddhic body, that is the size of the planet, and you have the atmic body, that is the size of the cosmos. So believe me, your physical body is in connection with a fantastic field of energy, awareness, and so on. And the work is to receive more and more this connection. To help you to understand better, when I am with and now I'm recording in a room, a dojo. Some of you know that, a small dojo. When sometimes we're 5 or 6 or 7 practicing in this small room, on the astral point of view, we're having an orgy because our bodies are all together. It's a field of love. It's a field of awareness, of attraction. Because if everybody has a body of, let's say, 2-3 meters, more or less, on the astral point, then, I'm sorry, we're all together. And on mental plan, poof. So how do you manage that your ego can go to the conclusion that I think, therefore I am alone and I calculate? Isolation is an illusion. In this field of energy, of existence, you receive, you incarnate, you organize the field of your knowledge, but you organize 2%, 5%, 10%. And when you evolve in your spirituality, you incarnate even more. When you are existing, you are like the center of a twister, like the center of a hurricane. And the people around you, when it's possible, if you're intense enough for that, and if you're in a place where people are coherent, some people, some special people, more than some others, okay, it's not always, they will incarnate a part of your soul that is called your love. Your love is the love that you feel from the inside to the others, but your love is also a part of your soul that is incarnated in other people. And that's why they love you. It's your own field of love that is talking to you through other people. And it's the only way to be totally incarnated. Without love, you cannot incarnate a certain quantity of your soul. And of course, if you want to incarnate even more, then you have to work to put everything coherent, logical, at each level of your abilities and your understanding. So, therefore, when you love somebody, of course if I take me, e.g., I'm going to be the reincarnation of my soul, but also the reincarnation of the soul of Anaël, the reincarnation of the soul of this one, those who are trying to be nice to me at the present time, and they are creating a network. And by creating this network, they allow me to love them, which means to incarnate their soul of light, of love. And it is their love talking through me that took a part of this reincarnation that is talking to this one or this one. So your body, or your energetical body, cannot even exist only in your physical body. It has to exist through different bodies, also sometimes animals. That is the essence of love. The essence of love is the essence of understanding the field of energy. To be able to understand, to be able to understand what my body can be. And therefore, of course, in every serious spiritual work, we speak about brotherhood. Because without a brotherhood, without a love nest, your energetical body, your soul, cannot exist completely. And this is why you can evolve a lot in a brotherhood. Because it's a protocol that is allowing organizing so that your energetical body can incarnate more and more within yourself and in the bodies of the others. And yourself, as a body, you are richer and richer of this light because you have the accumulation of your own energy and the energies of different people that you receive within yourself to give that to the people to whom it belongs. We call it love. So you understand that when you see like this, oh my God, but then it's totally, completely different. Yes, it is. Absolutely. We explain that if you want to forgive somebody, the forgiveness doesn't belong to you. It goes through you. You don't have the power to forgive. You have the power to go and fetch the energy of forgiveness. And when the forgiveness goes through you like the love, but it's coming from a different area of the cosmos, to forgive somebody, yourself, you are totally invaded in the positive way by the forgiveness. You are like a hose in a garden, and when you water the garden, the first thing to be full of water is the hose itself. That is to say, you. It's this process. So of course you exist. And if I punch your nose and that you're bleeding, of course you have pain and it's not an illusion. But at the same time, your comprehension of your surrounding and of yourself is a complete illusion. And when you start to enter this field of existence, the world around you is going to change. And to be able to perceive this acceptation of going with the cosmic wind and having a fantastic will at the same time is something very hard to organize. For instance, yesterday I worked with Jess, for those who know her, but doesn't matter for those who don't know her, and we're working in the weightlifting club. And I was showing her to get angry on the machine, to work more and more, and even to get angry with the machine. Fucking machine, I will be back, I will beat you, I will put you down to your knees even if you don't have any, you know. And at the same time, when she's working, I told her, don't block, breathe. And we're doing some exercises with the legs where the weight is going a bit away. And I said, don't block it with your legs, accept it, and it has to be absolutely like a magical movement. And some people, they saw me working like this and they said, that's really impressive. We have the feeling that when something is away from your body, it goes back to your body like as if you were controlling that, you know, by distance. It's not that. It's that I am completely with the flow of what I do and what I create, and I receive after that in complete acceptation, but with a terrible will of going to the end of everything that I can to develop always more my electricity. The power of the focusing about this electricity. We have to always improve that. When you die, it's only this intensity of electricity and love that is going away from your body, that cannot keep anymore the contact. So when you go into this protocol, you understand that the more you love, the more you call positive, fantastic energies within yourself to manifest even more love. It is a law of gravity. When the gravity is existing because you start to be a planet that is big enough, some satellites will turn around the planet and will fall on the planet and will get bigger and bigger. Our planet Earth is always growing, always, like every other planet of the cosmos. And you could see your soul, the field of your energy in your own body, like a solar system that is capturing more and more planets, and the planets at one point they fall into the light, that is to say the sun, that is growing up and growing up eating more and more. When you take this love, that you are able to incarnate some tasks, some missions that you are able to face, and among these missions is also the love for one or the other one. The more you incarnate this, and the more your own soul is going up. If you do this mission for 1 or 2 years, it has been a little bit improving, but nearly nothing. If you incarnate completely this love, then your soul will grow up, bok, 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 bok. If you have seen the film The Fifth Element, the people who did that, they have a very good knowledge, because there's this demoniac planet arriving on the planet Earth. It's working exactly the opposite way, exactly like a soul, but in the negative way. Each time that you try to destroy it with hatred and bombs, it's getting bigger and bigger. The soul is doing exactly the same, but with a positive energy. And that's why I said, you know why I'm very generous? It's because I know that we are one. The more I look after you, the better I feel. It's really true. It's not just a cool idea of philosophy. It's really acting like this in the energy. And when we see the evolution of the planet today, we go to starvation, because it's not allowed anymore to incarnate the love of the others, the divine tasks that you have to accomplish. Now, to understand maybe in a more science fiction way, I will give you some little examples so that you understand better why some things are acting around you. Because in fact, they are not acting around you, they are acting within yourself. Because you, physical body, you are living inside a very large field of energy that is really you. I'm sorry if it's a bit complicated, but... And when you start to understand like this, you enter a field of love, you enter a field of joy. And you understand that some things can react in a very weird way. One day, when I was in this evolution with Master Omra, I had to learn personality and individuality. And at that time, the topic was not clear to me. Because with my extreme will to accomplish things, I had also an ego that was being the champion in martial arts, Shaolin, karate, and so on, a leader. Even if I tried to be always fair, my ego was there. And as I tried not to develop my ego, when I saw some stuff that I read in personality and individuality, I can only advise you to read this book as well. You will understand even better what I try to explain. I got really angry, really, really angry. And what was even worse is that I felt frustrated to read this book. And every time I took this book, after one page, I was falling asleep. But completely impossible to resist. 10 sleeping tablets at the same time, but totally. And that made me so angry, because I knew that it was disturbing, that I wanted to know more, and poof! I was each time stricken down and unable to. That made me so angry, because I like to be my own master. And there I could see that some things existing within myself that I didn't invite were fighting very hard to prevent me from learning. What? So after trying 2 or 3 or 4 times, I don't remember, I said, you know what? I'm going to read this book. I will go to the living room, and it was in the evening. It was already dark outside, and I decided to read the book Walking, because I never give up. So I was reading the book Walking, and there the fuses of the house are going to explode. So I said, okay, all right, okay. And I started to think, would it be possible, because I was discovering all of this at that time, that I did that. That I have something to do with that because I'm not allowed to read this fucking book. So I went down to the basement, and the fuses were out, but in France it's easy, you put down everything or up and it's starting again. So I did. I said, bloody fuck, it's incredible. So then I went back to the living room, I took my book, and I started to read again. And bam, everything out again. So, oh my God. I started to be afraid. I said, in 1 second I'm going to meet a ghost. I go down in the basement, and there, everything is totally burned. No way to put back the fuses. Everything is burned. And there, you have to understand, I am in Ardèche. It's a part of the south of France with mountains. And at that time, I had the part of a castle. So it was a very big house, and I had only a fourth of it. We were 4 people to live there. 4 families. And but it's lost in the mountains. You have the wind. You have there. You start to be less proud. You say, "What's happening?" And you don't feel strong and proud because it's coming from you. You know it, even if you don't understand. You know it. What's happening? What's happening? So I called the electricity from the next house, because everything was out in my house. And as they have a system of emergency in France, they said, okay, we come. And the company came to repair, and they said, everything is burnt. Everything is burnt. And they started to repair, but they said, we don't know what you did. We never saw that. And I was there, saying, oh my God. Oh my God. So I took my book. All of this happened during the night, and when we have finished with the electricity and that I organized, it's maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I don't know. And it's the sunrise, or nearly the sunrise. So I took my book and I walked a place where I used to go to practice the sunrises, Surya Yoga. And I sat down, meditation, and I said, okay, now I cool my mind. I cool my mind down. I am in peace with myself. I am one with the nature around me. I am one with the sunrise. My aura is shining, like when I look at the sun that is appearing. First of all, it's completely dark, then it's a bit red, and it's more and more intense. And I visualize, as we do in Surya Yoga, that my aura is shining and adapting to the sunrise until I shine like a sun. And when I was in this state, peaceful and quiet, I read the book. And I stayed like this 3 or 4 hours, sitting in meditation, reading the book. And I succeeded. And when you do that, about the topic personality and individuality, believe me, my personality have been fighting very hard not to give up the power. You are the same. No one is escaping the rules. But with your wheel of electricity, there's everything that you can do. It's a path of a warrior, a pacific warrior. But it's the path of a warrior. Watch the film, The Pacific Warrior. It's a very good way to understand as well. It goes pretty well in everything that I explained about peaceful mind and so on. So even if it's a simple film, watch it. It's a good motivation, stimulation for you to clarify everything. You can read Jonathan Livingston, The Seagull. Richard Bach, who wrote that, knew about everything that I explained now. So read this book and try to visualize that you are Jonathan Livingston, the seagull, and that you learn with your body and your soul to do something perfect. That's the homework that I can give you at that level. As you don't have the manifestation of Omram, at least these little things are helping you to receive something. Another day, I'm sorry if I repeat some stories because I teach that and sometimes I forget to whom I told that and so on. Another day, I was with a student of yoga. She was 70 years old, and she started to worry about the death and so on. And you have to know that at that time, while I was talking to the Master Omram, I was recording everything, writing everything, and I was asked to delete everything, not to keep anything. So I did like this. And I was asked never to speak to anyone about this, because I was not ready to speak about this. I needed to be relaxed in my mind to be able to learn without having the pressure of people asking me, so could you explain that, could you tell me that, and so on. Growing up, incarnating the light is a protocol of savoir-faire, of war, of pedagogy. So with her, because she was very nice and she worried a lot about the death, I decided to share with her a recording and to explain who it was, how it was. It was very impressive. So I said, come on, they're going to be very impressed. Or she's going to be very impressed. So we're eating together at midday, and at one point I told her, after that I will show you something. I have a tape recorder. Yeah, I know, it was before the computers and everything. And she, yeah, my pleasure. And after eating, I want to use the tape recorder. It's not working. And then she said, but my electricity is out. And I could see on different clocks that were plugged directly that the electricity was out 40 minutes before the end of the lunch. And I spoke about Omram to this lady 40 minutes before. It means that I saw that, oh my God, is it possible that... But at that time I said, okay, I'm very organized, and I knew quite a lot about electricity. So I said, show me your fuses and I'm going to repair that. And I'm going to do something that is logical. You take each fuse that you plug alone. Like this, you know which one is not working. So the first one, plug. Okay, and then I know it's this one. I try to plug back everything, plug. It's going out again. So I said, shit, there's something else, I don't know. So I put the second one, plug alone. Okay, and then the fourth one or the fifth one, everyone was going out. What's that? So at one point I said, there's something that I don't understand. I never saw that before. And I put on the system of electricity without any fuses. And the system goes out. I said, but that's impossible. It's just totally impossible, because if you have no fuses, it's impossible. And then suddenly I receive a striking idea. I say, of course, she's not ready. I'm not supposed to do that. And then I concentrated some minutes. I said, okay. I don't show her anything. I have understood, Master Omram. I don't show anything. And then I put back the fuses, all of them, the electrical system, and it started perfectly fine. I said, wow. And of course, at that time, I was discovering all of this. So you are there, you say, whoa, what's that? And once you try, as long as you try to understand your surrounding from a very limited point of view, of course that it is incomprehensible. But if you understand in the field of energy that I spoke about, then it is very easy. And because it's not only the electricity, after repairing everything, we got a coffee and a dessert, and my friend never spoke about what I was proposing. She had totally forgotten. I didn't have to say, oh no, finally I don't show it to you. She never asked for. So, she's 70 years old. I had been working on the electricity for maybe 1 hour. So, okay, somewhere it's logical. But to that point. And this is where you see things that are not working the same way. And I saw that in so many different situations all the time. One day, I think I already told you this story, there was a guy who was making fool of me because he was young about the story of the entities, the angels, and so on. And says, "Oh, you're telling me that there are angels everywhere talking, watching us, and so on," and making fool of me. And at one point, you're explaining that they can speak to you through any way. And at one point, I was getting tired, so there was a book on my chimney. I took the book, I opened it completely at random, and I said, "That's for you," for instance. They are talking to you, that's for you. And he was, "Oh, yeah," with a big smile. He started to read. Then he lost his smile. Then he became really pale. He closed the book, and he never told me what he read. But he never came back to the topic of the angels. I don't know what he read. It was for him, not for me. But this field of energy, when you're open, can be there acting all the time. All the time. Our way to understand the world as you have been taught in the society to understand it, it would be to believe that the radio, it was an old machine that we used before, is intelligent, that the TV is intelligent, that a pen is intelligent. No, the pen is just intelligent because you hold it and that you write. It's coming from somewhere else. The radio can say cool stuff or play cool music, but it's coming from somewhere else. The TV, the TV even less, but okay, in theory, it's coming from somewhere else. The internet, the same. It's not a computer that is intelligent. Stop believing that your mobile or your computer are intelligent. They are not. They are humans somewhere else that are giving you something through a certain protocol. Everything that we do on this planet is like a pale, ridiculous imitation of the cosmos. But we can use what we have in this world to understand. EG now is used to record, to know where to push to record, where to stop, how to explain in this language or this language. But it's not EG who is talking to you, it's the light that is talking to you. Because my ego learned to be discreet. You don't have a powerful soul or weaker soul. You have very powerful or more humble egos. And when your ego is humble, your soul has the space to exist. When your ego is invading everything, your soul doesn't have the power to be existing in your existence. It's not the power of the soul that is important. It's the power of the ego that is trying to steal, and instead of serving the cosmic electricity, it is using the cosmic electricity to be arrogant, to pretend, to spend a useless life, fruitless, until you die for eternity, because the ego never existed. The ego is only a tool to manifest the cosmic electricity. And through that, you start to understand. As a reincarnation, you can remember some stuff. There are some people remembering some little stuff or a lot of things. When you work and that you practice, when you reach the level of the causal body is having the knowledge of why you are born there, why these people are with you, and so on and so on. So you start to remember everything a lot. And believe me, it's not that cool. Believe me. That was not when I was working with Omram. It was much later on. But I want you to understand a little bit to be able to give you an idea of this field of energy, of this incarnation of God. You are God. No, I'm not talking to you, fucking asshole ego. I'm talking to your cosmic electricity. You are divine. Because it's the essence of what you are. I don't believe in a person. I don't believe in a name. I don't believe in a face. I believe in your energy. And when your energy is an energy of light, of coherence, I love you. And when your energy is becoming darkness, jealousy, possession, fears, lies, you're not even existing. You're dark in a world of darkness. I don't even see you. I don't believe in people. I don't believe in a TV or in a radio. This radio is really cool, talks to me very often, very clever stuff. No. The light can be everywhere or nowhere regarding the state of evolution of humanity, or regarding your own state of evolution. In sex, you have the physical sex for the fun, because your body needs to touch, to be touched, and so on. And you have the magical sex. The magical sex is like stimulating each other to incarnate the light, the love. And of course, your body is enjoying, and your soul is enjoying. And when you come, when you have orgasms, we have different types of orgasms when we really work on the sex, then you turn this explosion of light to the sky, to the angels, and you offer that. And you ask your field of existence, that is to say the complete planet, to use this explosion of light to improve the world. We have seen lately, for some of you, the ball of love that is exploding in the sky and so on. It's exactly what you do with the power of sex, which means that when you play physically, when you lick, when you kiss, when you swallow, when you whatever, kiss, you are more feeding the animal. But by feeding the animal, you are freeing your ego. You start to be true, to be honest, to be completely with your partner, and with the orgasm, with the power. And then at the end, the more you have done a lot of sexual stuff, intensity, when you come, you offer everything to the cosmos that you are. And by doing that, you provoke an alchemical manifestation that is changing your surrounding and yourself in a way that you cannot even imagine. Because you start to understand that you're a field of energy, and its center is your physical body. And when you start to understand the world like this, how could you hurt? How could you betray? How could you lie? And everything has a different meaning. Absolutely everything. I could give you so many examples about this. I will give you maybe the last one, another one. It's about a friend, Maggie Lebrun. M-A-G-U-Y, then Lebrun, L-E-B-R-U-N. Maybe you can find on the internet some stuff about her, because she was quite well known. And one day I heard a story about her, not directly from her, but about her. When she was young, she had a surgery that was very, very painful. I don't know what it was. And at that time, the painkillers were not killing so much the pain. So she suffered a lot. She had the TV in the room where she was at the hospital. And it was a time where there was an airplane that was destroyed, had an accident, and everybody died. and there were many things on the TV about this horrible accident with corpses cut into pieces and so on. And she was watching that all the time, and she started to concentrate, to give her pen, instead of just suffering for nothing, she wanted to give her pen to these people, to help them to live correctly, to be in peace, to be protected for their departure for another plane of existence. And she explained that the fact of doing that helped her a lot. Instead of being in a bubble of pain, she used that as a tool to help other beings. So already it's positive in the way that the doctors were very surprised how she changed radically about the pain, and she was after that smiling and being happy in spite of having a lot of pain. She was welcoming the pain. Okay, and then 20 years later, she does a conference, as she did a lot, with a lot of people, about the magnetism that she was practicing, and the illnesses and the pain and everything else. And after the conference, like in every conference, there were many people who wanted to meet Maggie Lebrun to try something about magnetism against an illness, against that or that. So a lot of people were going to talk to her. And at one point, there's a girl arriving. She's 20 years old. And so Maggie is asking, so what can I do for you? What do you have? And she said, nothing. I'm perfectly healthy. And my life has always been a dream. So Maggie was a bit surprised. Yes, then, and she said, when I listened to you, I found you very touching, and I thought that everybody would come to complain. They come because they are ill and so on. And I wanted to give you this present just to inform you that my life is perfect, that my whole life has been a complete fairy tale. And then she said, well, there's just one thing in my life. My parents died in an airplane accident, and it was the same one. And she said, but everything was fine. I was adopted by the brother of my mother, my uncle. I was very young, I don't remember anything, and I grew up in this family. It has been absolutely perfect, and I wanted just to let you know that my life has been a fairy tale. So you know, this young girl, she's just following your idea that is logical. Oh, I'm going to help Maggie Lebrun by telling her something positive. What she doesn't know is that she's walking a path in this field of energy. And she goes beyond the intelligence, if we can call it like this, of her ego. Her electricity, her cosmic electricity, has been using the ego of this young girl to thank Maggie Lebrun for what she had done. What a marvelous, fantastic story. And believe me, the life is becoming a fantastic fairy tale when you are with the field of energy. About the love. Now, at the same time, you have to be very strong. When you are with this field of energy, you have to understand that this field of energy is always coherent. Always coherent. You're going to say, yeah, it's incoherent to go to see Maggie Lebrun to tell her that. No. The girl is doing something logical, and the superior intelligence, this cosmic energy, is also saying thank you to somebody who acted positively. But when you meet people who are saying, yeah, vegetarianism is really cool, it's really what we have to do, but I don't do it because it's complicated because of my family. What are you talking about? Yeah, to practice gymnastics is really cool. But you know, I'm really busy and I have a lot of stuff to do, so I cannot do it. What? Yeah, I know that jealousy is bad, but I can't help it, so I'm jealous. What? The darkness, the ego, will push you to cut yourself from the rest of the world. And on your point of view, it's working. But the reality is that it is not working at all. Because your magnetic field of your brain is not in contact with the complete system of your existence on the biological point of view. So you're incoherent with your dick, with your pussy, because of sex, with your stomach, because of what you eat, with your nervous system, because of what you torture yourself, with so many things. So many things. So the darkness is always incoherent. The light is including everything and is even so coherent that for your limited ego, it could look incoherent, but it is never. In this field of energy, the ego is not blocking the memories anymore. So you remember your past lives. It's not coming from one day to the other one, but it's coming. What is not cool is that you remember also the memories of the others, because you're not meeting a face and a name, but a field of energy. I remember somebody who came to me a long time ago. She wanted to be my guide. And when I met her, I was about to say, "Oh, my little sister, I've been waiting such a long time for you. Such a long time. How are you? It's so marvelous to see you again. I'm so happy." But you cannot say that, because how could you say that to an ego that remembers nothing? And when we started to speak, she came to be my guide. So we were supposed to travel together, to visit the world, to do a lot of stuff. And I was about, "Of course, my little sister, it's my pleasure. We have been organizing everything for that. Be welcome, dear sister." And I was not hitting on her. It's not the point, but she told me at once, "I'm lesbian." Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean... But at the same time, I knew that she was lying. So in fact, she was saying I'm lesbian because she was afraid that a guy like me would love to fuck her. So it's not dark because it's a protocol of security. I found that very limited. And I said, okay, I can take it, I can accept. And in the evening, she stayed in the house. In the evening, she's fucking with a guy of my team. And there, I said, okay, you come to insult me. Your ego is so terrified, that you need to insult myself, and therefore the light, and therefore your own soul. I have understood. We don't travel together. And that is terrible. Terrible. You know, a lot of people, they testify with the Alzheimer illness. It's horrible for them to meet their mom or their dad who don't remember anymore who they are. And they are insulting the kid, or even if he or she is not anymore a kid. But still, it's horrible because they are very mean, because they don't remember. It's terrible. Just imagine to live that with everybody. Because you know. And you know that they don't know. And you know that we cannot use that. So, because of some knowledge, you have to be very strong, not to show anything, to control yourself. Talking about this being, she was wrong to behave like this, because I tried to do my best to help her. Then she had to leave, because it was impossible. Because she went on lying and so on. So she worked with me for a year, and after that it was absolutely impossible. But she went on working. She had to process whatever it was. And now she did it. She is in peace with her ego that is accepting to be the domestic of the soul. But it's stupid. She's alone in another country. And she's suffering loneliness because it is the price to pay, because the ego controlled the soul. So after that, in the story, things can evolve. It is super cool because you can speak to people in a way that they find fantastic because you have knowledge that they don't have. It's terrible because you have knowledge that they don't have. And you're walking your way in a planet of Alzheimer people. And this is why it's very important through this evolution to be surrounded by love, so that you can hold on this pressure or this aggression of this loneliness. If you develop the power of love that everybody can understand more or less quickly, then you can deal with the rest. You can deal with the rest. You are not isolated. Your brain is the center of a fantastic field of energy. And the more you grow up, the more you develop your awareness and your control, your power on this field of energy. Learning the light, learning the essence of what you are is developing a lot of power. Power is not bad. It is what you do with the power that is bad, because your ego is pushing you to manipulate, to hurt, to kill. But it's the same if you learn a business, if you are the boss of a job, if you are the teacher that can teach lies or whatever to blackmail kids or whatever else you can imagine. It's normal that you manifest powers. They are the essence of existence of this field of energy. You are not separated. One day, I was asked at that time by the Master Omram to go to the forest and to do an exercise of sort of magnetism with a friend. And this friend knew a little bit, but not so much. And we go to this forest to practice this exercise, and when I arrive at the entry of the forest, I say, yeah, but there are fields that are better or worse for that, streams of energy, blah, blah, blah. Or I look at the forest and say, tell me, nature, Omram, tell me, where do I sit down? Where do I do that? And just at that time, there's suddenly the wind, and there's a pine cone falling down just in the center of a little clearing that was really a circle, and the pine cone fell down standing, really right in the center. So I looked at that and I said, oh, yes, thank you very much. And just went, for me it was starting to be normal, to be natural. And my friend, she stayed frozen at the entry of the forest and said, it's not normal, it's not classical. It is not classical at all. I don't understand. It's not classical. And I came to her and I said, come on, just, you want to work with the energy. You are not going to tell me that you're afraid of the energy. At that point, whoa, what is that? When you work like this, you really enter a field of the Jedis. Not like, science fiction, the film, blah, 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 but really. Remember Yoda with Luke Skywalker, when he's learning to do that or that. He's asked to move a vessel with the power of the force, but the force is the light. Explain as they do. Of course, it's simple because it is just, to move things and so on. But it is really that. The force is everywhere. We are part of the force. The force is through me. You cannot judge me by my size, for the force is my ally. And then he started to, Luke Skywalker is trying to do, to move this vessel. It's too heavy, it's impossible. And Yoda says, impossible only in your mind. Then he's doing the same exercise, and he's moving the vessel very easily. And Luke Skywalker, that was walking away, come back and say, oh, Master, I can't believe it. And Yoda says, that's why you fell. What is unable to believe? Your soul or your ego? Are you asking the sun that the sun is existing? Your soul is the sun. Your ego is the clouds that are hiding everything, the fog. Your ego has to accept the intensity of your soul, to be the continuity, the incarnation of your soul, because the ego is existing only for that. And then you stop fighting with yourself, because the ego, isolated from the soul, from the light, is totally schizophrenic. Schiz means to tear in Greek, to tear. And believe me, when only your ego is present, you are totally torn into pieces. And there's a tiny, tiny part of your existence that is trying to judge and calculate everything, while it is totally impossible, because your ego cannot have every knowledge. You must sit down. And when you panic because you are reading a book about the personality and the individuality, sit down and meet yourself on a higher level, and everything will get back into order with the power of the energy of the sunrise, of a clear mind, clear, peaceful mind. So I give you again a chapter, but not only a chapter. I give you a method with everything that I explain. You can apply a lot of different exercises, like increasing your aura. When you increase your aura, you increase your connections with your aura. And you know more, you can more. You can apply the exercises, read the books, see the films that I speak about. Apply Jonathan Livingston, the Seagull, personality and individuality, the Pacific Warrior. Come on. Try to apply, try to understand. It is not a lie, it's not an illusion. Your life of now is an illusion, a dark, demoniac, schizophrenic illusion. Enter the plenitude, the love, the power. That is the essence of the light. Nikola Tesla understood that, like many other masters. Don't try to understand Nikola Tesla on your point of view. Try to take the point of view of Nikola Tesla. Yes, absolutely. And of course, I can only finish with, may the force be with you. Božia ta ľubov nosí plnia život. Only the love of God manifested brings the plenitude of the life. Because the divine love manifested is what you are. Božia ta ľubov nosí plnia život.